Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. I do this every day. Today, Lee Greenwood, Randall Tex Cobb story. Oh, it's a gooder. So yeah, let's start with Lee Greenwood. He's a country music star. What you say? He's a proud to be an American. That's Lee Greenwood. Um, cool dude. I met him. We'll get into that. Randall Tex Cobb, actor, boxer, wild man. I mean, he's got the biggest head. We'll get into that too. Um, so yeah, this happened. This happened in like and we also I should mention BR549. That's the first that not this same night. It's the first time I saw BR549. Country band at Tootsie's of all places. Tootsie's. So yeah, it's on Broadway. We went to Nashville at the time. My girlfriend at the time. We were going to, I think, visit my grandmother in Tennessee, but we spent like a night in Nashville. Like, hey, let's go get a hotel room, party on Broadway's kind of like the Sunset Strip of Nashville. Pardon me. Just good times. So yeah, we had got to Nashville and got a hotel off of Broad. And then we went down to Broad. And at the time, again, this is probably early 90s, maybe mid 90s, a while back in the day. So yeah, we get all gussied up. We get our hotel room, gussied up, go down to Broad, and it's just packed. It is literally like it was hard to walk. I mean, there's like everybody out there and just good times. So we get to this. It was a big, like I think, like line dancing or square dance, some kind of hillbilly dancing, like this big club. I don't think it's there anymore. So we're waiting to get in. There's these crowd. And of course, me being from Tennessee, I see Lee Greenwood. I'm like, oh man. I tell my girlfriend, there's Lee Greenwood. Who the hell? Proud to be an American. Hey, he's a country star. So I go over. Not many people are recognized. He's just standing. I go, oh my goodness, hey, I'm usually not like that, but he was right there. So I was like, oh man, Lee Greenwood. Oh, thank you. And we're chatting. I literally asked him, like, what do you do down here? And he was like, what do you think? Same as you. Like, look, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, something pops off. Like, I hear, you son of a bitch. And it's just a big crowd. And obviously, it's a fight. I mean, in Nashville on Broad, there's going to be fights. There's going to be probably a lot every night on the daily, on the hour, probably. So a fight breaks out. And I'm like, what? And it's this big dude. Again, his head. Okay, this dude's head. Big. And he's fighting like a group of people. And it's Randall Tex Cobb. So it's like Randall Tex Cobb against 10 people. And it just happened so fast. Next thing you know, it comes over. They knocked Lee Greenwood down. Like he hit into us and Lee fell. I pick him up. Like, what? No, and it kind of goes on. Then finally they come here, and then the cops get there, and we're still standing outside. Lee Greenwood, they get him in. Like, I don't know what he is. I'm going in. I'm Lee Greenwood. Let me in. So my girlfriend and I are standing like, let's just watch this, and here comes the cops. And Randall Tex Cobb is like sitting on, and Randall Tex Cobb, he was the bounty hunter in Raising Arizona. He's been in a few movies. He was a boxer. He was everything. I can't say this enough, how big his head was. It didn't look normal. And he had like an iris, like he just a brow, just. And so we get, the crowd respond. The cops are talking, like, what's happening? Of course, he's ossified drunk. I mean, he's blistered. I got bleeding knots on his head, like these big lumps that are like bleeding. And the cops are being pretty cool with him, like, oh, you're up to it again, huh, Randall? Yeah. What happened? He's trying to, this guy. And we're like laughing our asses off. Not just me and my girlfriend, but like everybody around. And he's like, don't you laugh at me? Trying to get up to cut her. Cop's like, oh, no, settle down. He's asking for like a drink. Go get me a drink. Like, dude, you just been in a fight, man. You just been. Um, and they were like, well, where are the people at? Like who's gonna press charge? What's happened? What are we gonna? And nobody was there. They took off. They must have hit him with something because he's a big, mean dude, and I mean big. They must have had something with them to hit. Maybe took off their belt, the big belt buckle or something. I don't know. His head was again, it was swollen, but dude, he was just looked like he was like part Neanderthal, whatever you want to call it. Good times, so we stand there laughing. He's trying to get up. We go into this, we finally get into the club we're trying to get into. And it's line dancing or buck dancing or square dance, whatever dancing they're doing. Some kind of, and there was also like a big like gift shop with their Nashville, like anything, magnets and t-shirts. And I think they were even selling guitars. Like, of course, we're drinking too. We're having beers and whatever. Hang out there. We didn't dance. I mean, we're not going to dance. We're just like, saw Lee Greenwood. By then, he was with like two hot babes. I don't know. He that shit. And they're dancing. And you're Lee Greenwood, man. Come on. Again, this is like mid 90s, early 90s. Probably 30 years ago. Damn. Around 30 years ago. And so we had kind of forgotten about, we're leaving this hillbilly club, huge off broad. And there's Randall Tex Cobb is out there. The cops have left. He's just, and it's somebody, he's got a pint like a Jack Daniels or something. Wild turkey, Jim Beam. Again, he's blistered drunk. He is just drinking, and it's all over his back, And I tried talking to him, and like, man, bro, you need any help? Yeah. Come here. And we're trying to talk to him. You need any help? You want some? No, you don't want to be dealing. You don't want to be dealt with. And we're just kind of like, okay, fine. Mosey on our day. So we start going down Broad, and we're getting up to Tootsie's, which is like a legendary old bar. It's small. They have bands. It's old. Like Hank Williams Sr. used to hang out there. I mean, everybody, it's awesome. A friend of mine used to bartend there. And they're handing out flyers. They're like, look, you got to see this band, BR549. I'm like, BR549, how do I know that? They're like, oh, it's the Hee Haw number on Hee Haw. They're like, BR549. Like, that was old phone number. Hottest band in town, boy. So we're like, sure. So we go in, Tootsie's, and we actually get a table before it gets too crowded. They just got on. We get a table, we order some drinks, and they were amazing. I blew my mind how good they were. Again, I'm a rock and roller, but I like all kinds. I like real country too. I like all kinds of soul music. My mind was blown. So was my girlfriend, who's more of a hipster, into like Bauhaus and the Smiths and Susie and the Banshees kind of shit. But man, this is awesome. Like these guys, and they had like real country outfits on, and that stage at Tootsie's is as big as a stamp. I mean, it's no big. It's a packed in there, and they're actually playing. These guys are like just mind blowing. And between the songs, they have like a empty pitcher of beer, and it says tips. And so we go up there, and I give him like $5 or $10. I'm like, bro, and he leans down. The singer's like, thank you. He was totally cool, and people leaned in. Of course, they're flirting with my girlfriend. Hey, go back to our table and watch the gig. We're like, we weren't even planning. We're gonna watch this. And then they were like, look, we just got signed. Like, this is the first gig after you're not going to see us for a while. We got to go. We got to record an album. Then we got to like, they just signed like a major label, and I don't know who they signed to. Maybe it was MCA or something. And we watched the gig. We literally like waited, and afterwards, like people were talking to him. We talked to him. We're like, they're breaking down their stuff, and just, man, you guys blew me away. And at the time, was I in love engineering? I think I was still in my band Love Engineering. I'm like, I'm in love engineering. Oh yeah, well, everybody in Nashville tries to get you to move to Nashville. Well, you ought to move to Nashville. I'm from outside of Nashville, Smithville, which is like 60 miles maybe outside of Nashville. So as a teenager, that's the place to go. That's where you went and saw concerts. That's where you went and got wild. That's where you went and did whatever. Like the closest major city, you know. Loved Nashville. We went so much that we literally were known. We had friends. We had people. Of course, we're all long haired, and Smithville's kind of got a reputation where I'm from, Smithville, Tennessee, of like, hillbilly badasses kind of thing. So y'all from Smithville. But that also comes with like the law. Will be like, well, you're Smithville. You got to be careful. You don't want people doing. They'll be pulling you over every 5 minutes. So we go about. We still like, hey, because there's so many shops and like record stores on Broad and country music stores and just nudie suits that like light up and just crazy. Going down, but there's Randall Tex Cobb still. And I think he had like another bottle of booze. Just by then he was kind of lame. Like I felt sorry for like his pants on. This what the hell? By then he was kind of a star. Like he'd been in movies and he was a boxer. The cops seemed like they had dealt with him. Oh, Randall, you at it again? They didn't get him for public drunkenness or anything. Like he was. I doubt they would let me do that, but he's kind of a legend. So it's kind of like, well, let him. People are taking pictures. I might even have a picture of because I know like not too long ago, I was looking through my pictures and I found pictures from that night. Me and my girlfriend were like, we took pictures and had people take pictures of us in front of whatever. Tootsies. Oh, Tootsies is haunted, by the way. There's some old codger ghost that people see. It's usually in the same booth. He's like wearing a cowboy hat. He's skinny and tall. Like everybody's seen this. I've never saw it, but the night we were there, somebody claimed they saw the ghost. I did see some kind of creepy, but there's all kinds of creepy, weird, skinny guys in cowboy hats down there. I mean, it's just that's a thing. But yeah, we see Randall Tex Cobb is still there. Still, like starting trouble, like picking fights. Like he just wants to, that's who he is. I mean, it defines him. He's just going to be, he's just waving his freak flag, like flying it. Just, hey. I think like he was in socks by then. He took off his boots. He had unzipped his pants were undone, his shirt, and his head. I mean, this guy's huge. He's just a big old dude. And we're just laughing our asses off. We can't believe it's so funny. Of course, by then we're kind of buzzed. We've been spent like the whole evening on Broad. Get back to our hotel. Then in the morning, go hit to Smithville, see my grandma. Hey. But Nashville's a cool. If anybody's never been to Nashville or if you've never been to Tennessee, I recommend you go. If you're looking for a place and you want to like get away from Nashville, plenty of jobs. I'm sure it's getting expensive now. I mean, everybody has moved to Nashville. And even back then, most people in Nashville aren't from Nashville. There is like, for one, there's Vanderbilt Medical Center, which has got like the best medical, surgeons from everywhere. I mean, I'm talking about India, wherever they're all there. People think that like, it's like a big, small town though. I'm sure it's expanded, but Nashville is, a lot of money in Nashville. Don't get it wrong. And then that circle around Nashville, I don't know, 60-mile radius, 100-mile radius, has got the highest IQs of anywhere in America. I think the world. And people are like, well, see, it's because of Vanderbilt. But some of those hillbillies, some people, farmers are smart. They don't have to go to college to be, they can do anything. Well, built this, I fixed that. I mean, it's just shit. I'm glad I kind of grew up around that. I haven't been there in forever. Matter of fact, when I was leaving LA in February this year, uh, I was wanting to move around Nashville or even around where I'm from, Smithville, and it was too expensive, man. It was just like, what? Huh? No, I'd love to, but I'd see, um, and most of the rockers live in Nashville. I mean, they all move there, especially like outside of Nashville. You can buy like a farmhouse with land for back then, probably a little bit of nothing. Now it's getting, but everybody, a lot of metal dudes, hair band, rock and roll. It's just not country. It's Music City, USA. Most of the publishing back in the day, most all the publishing companies were in Nashville. Like Publishers Row, there was a street, I forgot what it was, and literally it's houses that they've converted into like publishing houses. Like they're just a street full of them. I wonder if that's still there. They tear down those houses and build like some kind of because the last time in 2000, like the summer of 2002 or 2003, I lived in Nashville. I'd been living in LA for about 4 or 5 years, and I was just like, oh, I need a break. I'm like, okay, my buddy had a house and moved to Nashville, and I signed with 2 agents. Advantage Talent, that's in Franklin, which is right outside of Nashville, and some other smaller one. And this is for like my music and acting or whatever. And I remember when I signed with Advantage, they're like, hey, just to get you going, before we can get you money coming in now, we have print ads. You can like model for print ads. Like, man, I'm not a model. Like, well, no. It's more for like these leaflets in the newspaper for, Truckers World or whatever, Tractor World, just like, modeling the, flannel shirts and cowboy boots and Wrangler jeans and stuff. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, call us if you do. So I'd been there for maybe a month and it was getting boring. They'd sent me on some auditions, but I hadn't got anything. I auditioned for Open Range, that Kevin Costner movie, didn't get that. So I call them like, hey, what was that modeling, farmer modeling stuff? Like, well, yeah, how much is it? $75 an hour. Hey, I'll do it. So like, we can get you as much work as you. So the first day I went, and I think I went to Franklin. It was like a studio. It was nice. It was a crew there and everything. And it's like Tractor World or whatever. These leaflets in the newspaper, on the Sunday newspaper, and they put me in these clothes. Of course, I have to do like Carhartt suits, and so it's like multiple changes. It was like an all-day thing. And what you don't know is, to me, they make the clothes look perfect, like fake. You're standing there. I remember they had like a fake barbed wire, like a thing of barbed wire I had around my shoulder, like, hey, like I'm a farmer. But they use these clips, these big metal clips, and clip everything like behind. You can't see your back, your arm, your legs. You're just all bling, like you barely walk, but you look like this. The clothes are just so perfect, and but they have to angle you so they don't see those clips. And I was like, we're gonna take a break. I forgot I had these clips. I forgot. So when I sat down in the chair, those clips like hit my back. It was horrible. Like oh shit, we shouldn't have told you to sit down. Yeah, you shouldn't have told me. Now you're sad. But yeah, 75 an hour, the easiest job, and I did it for a while. I think I did it like, I forgot how many times. So there's pictures of me somewhere out there back in the day. I don't think they're around anymore. With me in like Carhartt overalls and denim overalls and like Wrangler jeans and flannels and like a piece of hay out of my mouth, like barbed wire around my shoulder, like a big circle of barbed wire. Good times. And Nashville is wild. It is kind of innocent in some ways, but in other, it's just like LA or New York in some aspects of it. Again, there's a lot of money, there's wealth there. You're like, oh, Nashville. No, don't get it. Um, and of course, then you have certain nights where you run into like Lee Greenwood and Randall Tex Cobb. Like, shit. Memories to last a lifetime. And good people. I mean, I miss Tennessee. There's just something about Tennessee, man. It's beautiful country, and the people. Again, people are people. You're gonna run into like uh, mean, weirdo, whatever. Another thing about Nashville is the food. Like you think it's all country cook? No, no, Like one of my favorite foods is Chinese food, and one of the best Chinese food I've ever had was in Nashville, off of what was that we lived off of anyway. And it was kind of a sit down, or you could order it. I always ordered it to go, and big pork. They gave you so much food, and it was amazing. I just couldn't believe it because I just moved from LA. Like, hey, LA's got all the China. This place, and it was like in a little strip mall beside like a 7-Eleven. Like it wasn't that big, little hole in the wall. It had probably like 5, 6 tables, and I always got it to go. And then my roommates and friends at the house, they thought, well, you're crazy. You're eating that Chinese. Come on, man. Until they tasted it, and they're like, what? Yeah. Then they got addicted too. They were always. I remember the cashew chicken. Oh my god, huh? It was so good. I'd eat it every day if I could. Yeah, I'd mix it up a bit, but yeah, again, Nashville gets um like a bad rap sometimes. Like people think people are stupid, or and of course that's where I'm from. My people are all from around there. My mother grew up in Mount Juliet. My grandfather, her father, is actually from Franklin, which is right outside of Nashville. And they're crazy drivers in that. Oh my God. A lot of wrecks, a lot of people. They watch a lot of NASCAR, let's just say that. So that's a thing. And I love that area. I love the just the smells of the whole, you know, and and it's just there's fishing and there's everything. There's a lot of stuff going on in Nashville and outside of Nashville too. Take a drive, go out like where I'm from in Smithville. There's Center Hill Lake. It's just and when I lived in in Smithville, there's a lot of them are country stars that live around there. Again, it was cheap to buy. You could get like you know, Alan Jackson was living around Smithville. He actually cut down, he cut down some trees by the lake, like so he could get a bigger view of the lake. And they fined him, I think, like 30,000 a tree. Like it's shit. The TVA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, or something. You don't want to mess with it. In Center Hill Lake, they flooded that. That's a man-made lake. People didn't want to move. I can't get me off my lake. We're gonna flood it next week. A lot of humor. People are really funny. Sometimes they don't even know they're funny. They hilarious. Like, what you laughing at? You. I'm laughing at you. Don't laugh at me. What's what you're saying? Not you, but you. John Anderson lived around Smithfield. Just a swinging. He wrote "Swinging" and "Seminole Wind." Blows Seminole Wind. I actually went to like parties at his house back in the day. I went to a party on his tour bus. Um, Not like a real, it's not it's country. They're just drink, cool dude, cool guy. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna miss those times because again, Smithville is so small. I think it was like maybe 2,000 people. I don't even know what it is now. I'll have to Google that. See, maybe up to 5,000 people. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe less. Who knows? But when I lived there back in the 80s, it was like I think 2,000 people. Home of the Smithville Jamboree. During July, every weekend of the July 4th, they have a jamboree and they turn the town square. They build a stage and it looks like an old, country store, and they have like buck dancing contest. People come from all over. I mean, tens of thousands of people flood, and people like rent out their lawns for parking. My grandparents did it. Uh, and yeah, try to find parking during the jamboree. And it's wild. And growing up in there, and you're meeting people from like a lot of people from Japan are like fiddlers, and they're picking they banjo, and they are awesome. So you're meeting people. I'm glad I was exposed to that, like all this culture. And again, in Nashville, there's just anything you want, anything you need. It didn't like especially if you're like in the arts, like even painters or songwriters and bands. That's where you want to go. That's where the money is, yo. And we did. We'd go to Nashville, and my best friend, his father had they had a condo in some kind of complex. It was nice, and they'd give us the keys. And, hey, go to that, and we did. And of course, they're like, please clean up after yourself. And we did. We try to keep it, Um, I met Johnny Cash's son, Johnny Cash Jr. or something. Back then, he had uh, like a camo hearse. Like he was, he was more of like a rocker too. I think punk rocker. Like he was shit. And we were too. We leather jackets and long hair. It was awesome. You want to see concerts? Like every weekend we'd go. There's so many like bands. We went and saw Ronnie James Dio like twice on tour there. Everything I saw, except I saw like every band you could think of. I saw there. We it's just not country music, man. People are that's their lives. Everybody music and cooking and fun. That's what I miss about that area. It's just like people just want to have a good time, and um they're funnier and a little bit smarter. Now, granted, it's their accent. They don't sound that, but they do. Because you go elsewhere, and these people aren't that. No, there's not. They think that's another thing. You think you're smart. People I grew up with never even mention how they. No, no, no. We used to know these old dudes like, hey man, I need if you buy me a 12-pack, I'll fix your car. Well, we did. And he'd be out front in the yard and just like putting in a new, you have to buy this stuff for him, but he'd bring his tools and he would like change out your radiator. I mean, and quick, like while he's guzzling beers. Well, now see, I did you and weaving a yarn. Well, me and Mossy, it was awesome. Be laughing your ass off. Again, it's creature feature though. If you get like out in the wood, there's rattlesnakes and copperheads, and there's you gotta be careful. Hornets and just yeah, it's a thing. As a kid, we'd always like, we're gonna go pick blackberries, Grandma. And well, you bet that's where the snakes are. And she's right. They'll be in the blackberry, but you'd see them. We're like, okay, let's move on down. And your fingers are purple for like a week. People on the side of the road, you see them picking blackberries. Miss those times, man. Miss those times. Show up to school and everybody's hands are purple. Oh, y'all been picking blackberries up? Yeah, my grandma made a pie for you. My grandmother was like known for her pies. Well, her pie, though, but yeah, that night with I've had a lot of nights, Hollywood nights, Nashville nights is right up there with Lee Greenwood and Randall Tex Cobb. That's kind of a different spectrum. You wouldn't think you couldn't make up some. Come on, it's a huh? And Lee Greenwood got knocked over and Randall Tex Cobb was like fighting a group of people, doing pretty good until they started beating him with whatever they're hitting him with. Maybe that's what you'd have to beat him in that big melon head of his. Shit. I do this every day, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. You want to support the channel? There's information in the description. Zelle. I'm going to be doing more of these. I'm thinking about doing a live sometime at night because I do these during what time is it now? It's 10 in the a.m. But yeah, I'm thinking about going live maybe tonight. Who knows? Hey. But we got running around to do. We're actually cooking. I'm going with some friends, and they're going to I'm doing chicken wings. They're going to be awesome. And so I do this every day. I'll be back tomorrow, ranting like a madman. But I love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.